Good morning, everyone. Today we're checking out a brand new video from Josh Culture of the top 10 games where your choices actually do matter. Let's hop in.
This video is brought to you by Redneck Engineer, custom-built gaming PCs and parts for an affordable price. Use code JoshScorcher at checkout for a 5% discount. And
Only
make sure you don't have
5%?
any coupon clipping extensions like Honey installed or I don't get my commission. Thank you!
I guess it's still pretty good.
The concept of choose your own adventure has been around since before the 1980s, thanks to the popularity of the choose your own adventure novel. Nowadays, the
Literally.
concept is most seen in games. Why? Interactivity. Games
Yeah.
don't just let you kill enemies and pick up items. They can be a medium to make the story your own. We're going to be ranking these based on gameplay and the weight of your choices within that gameplay. Can the story be manipulated by even the smallest choices? Does it have engaging gameplay to further immerse the player in the story they create?
Ooh,
If it doesn't have either
okay.
of those, might as well just be watching a movie. Or playing a Telltale game. Or this
Haha.
Prezi D clip.
King Dragons. It's a good thing I always carry two guns.
It's a good thing I always carry two guns. Okay. Hey Josh, is this a new intro? Seems like it is. Regardless, I like this. Definitely a new intro. Alright, the first game up. Mass Effect. Huh. Okay.
Most video games follow a very simple principle with their storytelling. When the story
Sly
calls for your
Cooper.
character to do something, you have to do it. That's how a plot works after all. Sure, you get games like Spec Ops: The Line that call you a bad
Hold on.
person for doing that, but
There we
what
go.
if we didn't like either of those? What if we just ignored any and all calls to adventure? Well, then you get the Stanley Parable. The premise is simple.
Oh, Stanley Parable is the first game, and they're using Mass Effect as the transition. Okay, you got me.
Stanley is a simple office worker who finds his workplace empty and himself following a strange yellow line, in some cases. And
In one
narrator
story.
beckons you forth in the call to adventure. Or you could just ignore him. Yeah, just go whatever way you want. The narrator's not going to stop you. He'll just
Yeah,
sit
do anything.
sit there and watch as you completely derail his plot.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
A few moments later.
You've destroyed my work! Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now.
That's the game
I love the sound of him being pissed off.
play loop of the Stanley Parable. There's many ways to mess around with the game, and it's surprising just how many scenarios and opportunities it gives you and will react to. For example, there's just a broom closet. Standard old broom closet.
Yep.
That you can walk into. The broom closet.
That's
the
it.
narrator will remind you there's nothing in the broom
And
closet.
they'll-
But if you decide to just stick around in there, in the broom closet, shutting
For a
yourself in
few
there for
hours.
hours, in the broom closet, the narrator will be exasperated with the player's choice and even get mad about you posting about it online. About the broom closet. There's so many ways you can toy with this game. To list them all would be a disservice to the amount of experimentation
Yeah,
you can
there's
do.
so
All
much.
the endings the game has that depends on the different ways you follow the narrator's story or not, and updates only added to this.
Whoa,
It's a
what?
short game, but it's a taste of how much games will pay attention to what you do.
And since when did I acquire all these portraits of...
The broom closet.
The broom closet. Okay. Well, from Stanley to number 9. It's
Dream is well known for their story-based games that are all about making choices. Whether they're famous or infamous for that, depends on who you ask. But regardless of the recurring writing choices, Detroit Become Human is definitely one of their
yes.
better works. In a future
I love this game.
where society is full of humans and androids, you follow 3 different main characters. Connor, an android officer in charge of solving cases involving rogue androids. Kara, a servant android on the run with a child in her custody. And
Yep.
Marcus, a deviant revolutionaire fighting for the freedom of androids. Every decision you make not only affects the stories individually, but they even affect each other. Decisions you make in Connor's route could lead to better or worse situations in Kara's story. You can have
Ooh.
Connor and Marcus work together in one route, or fight each other in the other. Either way, it's pretty impressive just how many scenarios you can get out of this story. Admittedly, not all of these routes
No, it's 28 stab wounds.
are all that compelling. Kara's story
Because
has
of
some
that
pacing
slap.
issues, and Marcus's romance arc is so vapid and makes me want to go back to Brothership or Sands of Time just to cleanse my palate. Really,
Oh, yeah.
Kara's story
Kind of forgot that was even that whole romance arc even in the game.
is what makes it all worthwhile. Not only is Brian Decker's
I'll be honest, I haven't been in the game. Yes, I know. What am I doing? Why own it if you haven't been it? But that's how many people are with games.
performance
just
really
haven't.
endearing, but he's also partnered with the best character in the game, Spindlehorse Mr. Krabs.
I don't give a f about your instructions.
Oh my god, that is Mr. Krabs, the voice actor.
Get the f out of my house. Just a fucking machine.
Oh,
No, we still don't have a Squidward
Oh, I'm sorry. Did he just put him in the gut or the balls? I can't tell.
swearing catalog yet. Weird, considering he strikes me as the one who do it most. The writing issues do keep the game from being higher on the list, but hey, stiff as it can be sometimes, it still delivered its premise according to the program.
Alright, well, from the androids. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, no, androids of number 9, we move to number 8. It's.
Hey, remember this odd little game that I just happened to talk about out of nowhere?
Oh, yeah.
How about we actually take a look at how it plays? Void Stranger is a dungeon-crawling puzzle game
Oh,
starring
yeah.
Mom of the Year on a journey to save a princess from a dungeon called the Void.
I was thinking of something else.
In your hands is a rod that lets you collect and place tiles at will, opening up to a myriad of ways to solve each room. Create
Neat.
paths, block enemy routes, heck, you can even move the stairs. If only you could crush the enemies with it. The more you
Oh.
play it, you start to notice just how many pieces of the puzzle there really are. The clues you find play a big part in the routes you can take along your journey, and the routes
For real?
usage is not as limited as it looks. Let's just say the stairs aren't the only way around the dungeon. While the game starts out difficult and restricted, once you understand how everything works, the game opens up so much. It's crazy how many ways Void Stranger lets you
Whoa.
break it and even stray away from the main story. Interestingly, the choices are more gameplay driven than story driven. You get different routes and endings, not only from solving some quests and riddles differently, but also breaking the UI. Yeah, you can do that and cheat your way across the void.
What
Each of these different
the-
endings even provide you with lore pieces that help put the bigger story together. Speaking of which, get ready for a plethora of story bits that aren't gonna make sense from the get-go. Sure, there's the Mother Saves Daughter main story that's easy enough to follow, but then there's also the story of the Void Lords, which also ties to the main story and its characters thematically. Plus,
Right.
some endings reveal bizarrely vague lore about how this void came to be and why. I mean, yeah, it's not that complicated once you have it all lined up. It just arranges it in a way that makes it ridiculously confusing. No,
Yeah,
you
oh.
are not taking notes. The game gets more and more riddle-based as it goes on. For most people, this kind of out-of-the-box problem-solving and piecing together really vague plot may not be what they want. Eventually, it feels less like playing a game and more
What
like
the-
solving an ARG. But it's a very different experience, and you might find a lot to enjoy and appreciate here. As long
does
as you don't
seem
mind turning
fun.
your brain into
Maybe.
an overcooked GPU.
On to number 7. From the void of 8 to number 7. There we
The
go.
Persona series has exploded in popularity over the years, and it's not hard to see why. The engaging stories, likable characters, social simulation elements. There's a lot to appreciate. For all its strengths, though, the choices you make in the story don't
A
really
deal.
matter all that much. More often than not, all they do is maybe determine what ending you get, and a lot of other games do that. Now,
Oh,
if only there was
yeah.
a Persona game where your choices actually did affect the story. Oh wait, there totally is. Devil
Ooh.
Survivor. In Devil Survivor,
what?
a group of teenagers gain the ability to summon demons. And, well, so do a bunch of other people.
Ah.
Which leads Tokyo to be put into lockdown. Given the
Okay.
circumstances, things quickly go from tense to catastrophic. And as such, you're forced to make some incredibly difficult decisions about the broom closet. Depending on your
Broom
choices,
closet.
characters can join you, desert you, and even die. As the stakes constantly escalate, you go from making decisions that determine the fate of your friends to those that affect humanity as a whole. This is bolstered even
Oh,
further
no.
with the 8th Days in the 3DS remake, where you get to see the fallout from the ending you chose. And by far the biggest example of it is Naoya's. Do you mercilessly slaughter everyone in your way, or convince them to fight alongside you? One thing's for sure, you...
I'll be honest, I have no idea what the hell any of that is.
Oh no. We have some breaking news, don't we?
From the breaking news of 7, we move to number 6. Alright, 6, report.
Many people play video games to distract themselves from the treacherous world of politics.
Yeah,
What if there was
that
a game
is
that
true.
not only showcased that treacherous world, but also forced the player to make decisions that directly affected the fabric of the nation's political situation?
Oh, it's
On
this
that
game.
note, not for broadcast. Yeah, you were probably expecting this one by now. You step into the shoes of Alex
I wasn't because I haven't watched the game nor played the game.
Winston, a faceless, gender-neutral protag who one fateful day is tasked with editing a live broadcast of the national nightly news. You begin to edit all the subsequent broadcasts
In
after a
and
guy
in.
that trains you basically says,
This shit, I'm out.
the decisions
Still love
you
that.
make in this game are based on what you want to show to the viewing audience and what you want to censor. Sure, probably not a huge deal beeping out the fucking swear words, but at some point in the game you're asked to censor speech that speaks against the government. Do you comply? Or do you stand against the prime ministers because you
Ooh.
disagree with their policies? This
Yeah,
is what
that
you
was a
signed
good
up
question.
For, but you might have to make a choice. What happens when the resistance group hacks into your broadcast? Do
Uh-oh.
you support them? Or do you ignore them in favor of keeping the viewers and your boss happy? On top of
I
that,
do
you have
not
to make
know.
decisions in your own personal life via visual novel segments, which the developers have dubbed the incident system. Here you choose how to conduct yourself as a partner, a parent, even an employee, which affects your relationships and your wealth. Every plot
Oh.
point in this game shares
Oh,
a different
okay.
yet
No, that's-
contemporary topic of discussion.
No, I like that system.
A lot of it can be tied to US politics, but you don't have to see it that way. You're constantly being pressured to side with one group over the other, and sadly, you can't side with one without facing extreme ethical repercussions.
Yeah.
Making that decision
See those
is
games.
about the same as trying to
Videos.
determine which end
Sorry.
of a double-edged sword you want to cut yourself with. Either way, you're gonna look down and find that you're bleeding out. Full motion video is not common in the games industry anymore, as most FMV games from the past have been less than stellar. Though I still miss the Civ 2 console, they were hilarious. But
That
Nitro
does
Broadcast
seem
takes
funny.
full advantage of this format. And with so many little decisions and so much footage, the developers filmed for 43 hours.
Good
That
God,
was enough
nearly
footage
2
to earn the
days?
devs a Guinness World Record. And this isn't even counting the game's 3 DLCs. Don't even get me started
It's got DLCs?
on
Shit!
the actors who do a really good job even as they have to act in all the different routes you could potentially take. Hey, I encourage y'all, play this game. It's fun, downright hilarious at times, but it's also informative. It uses its player choice system for the purpose
Oh
of
my.
teaching you how to make the right calls, but even the right calls have consequences. But regardless of those consequences, they're choices that only you can make.
Only you can make tomorrow better.
I definitely need to watch
can we
this.
turn the lights back on, please?
Well, we move from number broadcast of 6 to number 5, and it's...
You're watching
Oh,
a video
Slay the
on
Princess.
YouTube.
Okay.
The video in particular is a countdown, and the number 5 spot of this countdown is a game called Slay the Princess. In this game, there's a princess, and you're here to slay her. If you don't,
Supposedly.
it will be the end of the world. Well, you don't necessarily have to, but much like the Stanley Parable, the narrator of this game is a rather persistent DM who will do anything to ensure that the
Oh,
story
that's a lot of
goes
cabins.
how he wants it. It becomes a matter of who you trust more. The narrator? The princess? The hero? The choice really is yours. You can be merciful to the princess and she'll be a sweetheart. Or you can go through with your mission and she'll become much more threatening.
And demonic in a case.
Why, thank you for asking, viewer. Those of you whom have followed me for quite a while know that I'm not always an indie horror fan. But from the gothic art style to the horrific depictions of the princess, the tense music and hilarious banter
The
between
game is beautiful, I will give you that.
the voices, Slay the Princess manages to spark my fancy in a way that most other indie horror games often don't. Oh, come on. It's quite obvious, isn't it? The sheer scope of the decisions. Sure, while it doesn't have more involved gameplay mechanics like Void Stranger or Not for Broadcast, nearly every single dialogue tree unlocks a new route in your quest. Each time you die, the
everything.
game resets, and you'll respawn in a slightly altered version of your reality.
Yeah.
When you come across a disturbing figure
never
that
the same.
explains to you the gravity of your decisions, and each decision you make, you will end up second guessing. The fate of the universe is in your hands, and each decision reflects every aspect of your character. Not just your beliefs,
Whoa.
but your personality and moral alignment. Your first decision could very well determine who you are as a person, and the scale of that decision combined with the psychological horror elements
Whoa,
makes Slay
okay.
the Princess a treat for everyone to experience themselves. Oh, bloody hell.
Let me be the first to show you the
Broom closet.
Broom closet! How many times has that been said already? God bless it! Enough of the damn broom closets! Number 4!
Saying bigger is better has been the go-to for a lot of AAA developers as of late, and it's probably why we're in the state we're in right now. Everyone's trying
Probably.
to push the envelope with bigger open worlds, but a lot of those games fall into the trap of having huge worlds but nothing to do in them. The formula's
that's
been
a
cracked for
downside.
years now. You want your world to feel big? Make it feel lived in, and you make
Make
it
it
so
feel
that the world
alive.
changes based on what you do. Take a trip to the wastelands of Fallout New Vegas to see exactly how this can be achieved. New Vegas drops you into its sprawling
Oh,
world and
hey.
tells you to interact with it however you
that's
want.
cool.
And as far as Fallout games go, it's easily the most immersive. Sure, Bethesda titles like Skyrim have it beat in scale, but Obsidian's New Vegas world feels more alive than any of Bethesda's outings, and that's in no small part to the charm of the characters and side quests. Throughout the
That's
game, you can
nice.
choose between different factions and decisions depending on what you want to see for
The
the wasteland.
Brotherhood of
Depending
Steel.
on who you help and how, quests
Oh,
diverge
damn.
to
Shot him
completely
point
different
blank.
routes. You can side with the enigmatic Mr. House and help him realize his utopia. How about the other 3 main quote-unquote routes for this story? You can also side with the NCR, which does a lot of morally questionable things for the greater good. But hey, it's
The
at least
greater
preferable than
good.
siding with the insane theocratic mess that is Kaiser's Legion, unless you're feeling like an evil route, of course. The game even gives you the option to go rogue and side with nobody, charting your own path.
Yeah.
No matter what you do,
Do
the
whatever.
game's ending will reflect it and give you a where are they now, showing how you affected everyone you came across on your journey. The game has
Neat.
no perfect ending. The quote-unquote best ending is entirely your own. You're free to choose what aligns with what you like. New Vegas is a game that's been getting a growing following as
Oh,
of late.
wow.
It's not hard to see why. In an age where games tend to have the width of oceans but the depth of a puddle, the world of New Vegas stands out from the crowd. Also, the game has an entire faction of Elvis impersonators. Just want to put
Wait, what? That was a whole team of people just being Elvis? Imagine walking into that room. It's just a bunch of oh, I gotta ask a guy about that later.
that out there. And yes, what happens to them is entirely up to you.
I'd give them the whole strip in that case. On to number 3. It's
Hey, you can fight me on this. I like all the Dark Pictures games.
oh damn.
On top of the extensive range of character interactions, the way these games are written just speaks to me. Yeah, I even like Man of Medan and Little Hope. Of course, I don't think they're
Oh,
perfect,
yeah,
but
forgot about
I
those.
still like them. But let's not kid ourselves. Until Dawn is still the best one. Story is simple.
The definition of that game is literally the choices you make define your fate. Ooh, I wasn't even trying for that to kind of rhyme.
A bunch of whippersnappers had a prank gone wrong in a cabin within a snowstorm. Some of them went missing over it, and a year later, they had a reunion to try and rekindle old threads. But of course, there are twists and turns as the darkness of the past would come back to haunt our protagonists. Like the other games, Until Dawn is a horror survival where the characters live or die based on the choices you make. This game demands you pay special attention to every hint, from future predicting totems to established info to your character's
hold on.
personalities. Your choices, as well as your performance, write the story, and you only get one shot. Butterfly
Only
Effect
one.
is the name of the game. For example, there's a love quadrangle between Mike, Jess, Emily, and Matt. Whether or not Matt and Mike got into a fight over Emily affects whether or not Emily and Jess get into a fight over Mike, which affects whether or
Ooh.
not Matt and Emily get into a fight over... Okay, you get the point.
It's a pretty complicated love square.
Also, Mike being a good boyfriend affects how
Doug Walker, aka the Nostalgia Critic.
little clothing Jess has later in the game. Okay, they're not all winners. The
Yeah, that
choices
one's
don't just come
kinda
from the main
slim.
story either. The therapist's questions also affect your playthrough. Yes, some of it is ultimately placebo, but you won't be able to
Some
tell
of it,
the first time.
not all of it.
And that applies to the main game too. It keeps you on your toes, in that while some choices don't ultimately matter, those that do will make those feel like they matter. Heck,
Completely.
MatPat was so paranoid he might have duped someone for missing a high five.
There's 5, girl.
Sure, there are some characters that get
Well,
a bit
damn.
of plot armor, and you do gotta work extra to make sure a certain someone who is really tricky to keep alive would survive. It's okay, Chris, you're worth it. But everything else is fair
Oh,
game.
yeah.
The whole game really...
Plus, downside, we find out the bullets in that gun were blanks, and found out through kind of my own testing. Okay, it was a movie I watched. Blanks, even when shot, blanks when shot that close, are still very, very fatal.
It does nail the experience of an
So,
interactive
yeah.
horror flick. In the end, you're free to
Chris
follow
should be
the
dead.
tropes that come with it, subvert it, or forego it altogether to your heart's content.
On to number 2, it's...
I think we all know where this is.
Oh, you know what? I should have said, and from the dawning of 3, we moved to number 2. It's
going, so let's
down.
just skip to the end.
If there is any
Undertale.
game known for just how much your choices dictate what happens, it's gotta be Undertale. No fancy intro necessary, Undertale took the internet by storm with just how many choices it gives you and how they affect the plot.
Oh, yeah.
Really, John?
I mean, we may cut the game into only having 3 routes, but everything matters. That snowman, that candy bowl, that little frogget in the wall.
Gosh, your choices
I said
matter. There's
frog.
only 3 routes. Really? Every interaction with the characters feels organic, and every one of them can be spared or killed depending on what your run is. Everyone knows about the pacifist ending, of course, but the neutral route has a shocking amount of depth and awareness for what you do. It's seriously underrated. Depending on your actions, you could leave the underground
yeah.
in the hands of any one of the main cast. Up
Even Jerry.
to and including an ending where, at the lack of anyone capable of leadership, a random dog takes power. But oh, that's not the end of it.
Toby.
Go as far as killing everyone you can, and Undertale bites back hard with the no mercy route. You want to kill everyone? Go ahead and try. The game brings you and itself to the limit until literally nothing remains. Something only a deal with the devil can bring back.
Oh,
Heck, the game
yeah.
catches on to you doing multiple playthroughs, or heck, abandoning playthroughs at key moments. Nothing you do lacks consequences. Everything matters. Do
Oh,
another
yeah.
run after killing someone, and they'll have deja vu
Everything.
of you and Flowey. That little weed will not hesitate to rub it in your face. You can't undo your mistakes. The game even has the foresight to call you out for watching Let's Plays or data mining. Undertale takes your expectations for it being a game and uses that to its advantage to create an experience like no other. So imagine everyone's shocked to see Deltarune hit you with "your choices don't matter." Toby Fox's mind works in ways none of us can begin to comprehend.
I actually have... What the fuck did I just pause on? My good God in heaven. Okay, what I was trying to say was, I've actually been playing Deltarune in my free time, and, found out something. The Snowgrave route technically only exists in 2 chapters. Chapter 2 where you start it, and Chapter 4 when you're at Noelle's house. It kind of skips Chapter 3, but more so does change some of the dialogue options. And so I honestly say Snowgrave is what you should do to the game when you have completed it completely. But, you know, we're only into Chapter 4, and there are 7 total chapters. And I just realized, 7 chapters, 7 days in the week. Oh, that's clever, Toby. That's very clever. On to the honorable mentions.
Lisa, the Painful. Cut off your own limbs or sacrifice your friends. Fun choices.
Oh, God.
Dragon Age Origins. You can decide who lives, who dies, and who gives you the stink eye if you don't save their village. Fear and Hunger 2, Termina. More characters, more gods, more gory ways to perish.
Ooh.
Hollow Knight. Let Zote die.
You should have killed me when you had the chance!
Oh yeah, you can just straight up let this guy die by not saving him that first encounter.
Trust me on this. Spore, while not executed the best, the variety of gameplay choices based on evolution definitely deserves recognition. Coffin of Andy and Laylee. Oh my goodness, Andrew punched his sister. He can grow a spine after all, if you let him. Robot Alchemic Drive.
What? What?
Get the door.
The broom closet.
It's Broom Closet, son of a bitch! Josh! #1! It's...
You know, no matter what game you play, there is always going to be some limit to what choices are possible. The game will have to follow a linear path in some way to some sort of end state. You can alter the path or do drastic actions to make major plot points happen sooner, but in the end, the game is always the will of whoever wrote it.
Will
in
of the...
sense,
Oh,
you
rifle.
aren't the
Yes.
master of the story. They are. A dungeon master, if it... Yeah, it's Baldur's Gate 3. D&D is where RPGs
Oh, okay.
and choice-based games got their mainstream appeal. So it makes sense that the best D&D game would be our #1. In
That
Baldur's
would make
Gate 3,
sense.
you play as, well, whoever you want. A custom character that finds themselves infected by a tadpole creature to turn them into mind flayers before accidentally being saved. Now you journey with these other infected to find a cure and the truth behind these events. That's the premise, but
So if you fail, you become a mind flail. Alright,
anyone
that's
who's
kind
ever
of cool.
heard of this game notes that that's just the surface. In true D&D fashion, pretty much any choice you make has some sort of ripple effect on the story or even your gameplay. Whether it's saying the wrong thing to a random NPC or having the wrong companion in your party at the wrong time, it could lead to your companion leaving or your entire party dying and having to restart at the last checkpoint. But that doesn't mean you have complete control. You are still following a story led by a dungeon master who will narrate your choices or lack thereof. And even above the DM, there is a force that not even the gods can alter. The will of the dice.
Just so you know, Jeff, you were not creating 6 different timelines.
Of course I am, Abed.
Because of course we got to roll d20s to make choices and pray to RNGesus that you don't crit fail.
Go! Dice roll!
Live by the dice, die by the dice. And with 12 classes, 68 subclasses as of the last patch, and 10 companions, you could play this game hundreds of times and still never see every piece of content. Heck, people are still discovering unique contextual bits of dialogue that no player would conceivably pick in their playthrough, yet the game was prepped for it anyway. There's even technically a 7th origin character called the Dark Urge that can alter the story dramatically just by choosing it over the origin characters. Oh, and this game is long. One playthrough will take you 100+ hours at least, and that isn't including all the resets and save scumming you're going to be doing to get the results you want. Yes, this still is a video game. Nothing is ever truly permanent. Other than the save scumming, you can also just mod out the dice rolls, give yourself better odds, or just brute force everything using cheats. And unlike Undertale, it won't remember your choices to guilt you later. But with more ending alterations than the average hourly playtime, this game will almost literally be different each time you play it. At least in subtle ways, the core story will still occur. Gosh, does Act 1 drag on those repeat playthroughs? But it's so worth it to experience the closest thing we ever got to a journey that we can really choose our own ending. Other than making our own games anyways. About the Broom Closet.
Broom Closet!
I'm Josh Scorcher, and I am ending this quickly because it's my choice. Deuces!
Cut! Hey Josh! How about the Broom Closet? Okay, that's it. We're ending off today's video with that. I hope you all enjoyed. Link to the original will be down below. I'll see all of y'all next time. Peace out.